Hello, interweb. It is your boy, Mr. Hosking, here to talk to you a little bit about World War One. It takes place from 1914 to 1918. It's also known as the Great War. It's going to include all of Europe and all of its colonies, which really takes up the whole globe. It truly will be a war of the entire world. A couple of questions of the day that you'll be able to find throughout the PowerPoint today for your guided notes. What were causes of World War One? There are five main causes of World War One. The first one being land control. Land control or prestige. I think probably today we would call this swag. The bigger your country, the more land it controls, the better your country looks. The second thing is nationalism, pride in your country. If you think that your country is better than everybody else's country, you're going to think that your country should control the most amount of land out of all of the countries. The third one is economic competition. We have this industrial revolution going on in all of these places in Europe, and they're looking for new markets to sell their goods and more raw materials to make more goods. So economic competition is one of the causes of World War One. Militarism is the fourth cause of World War One. That's the buildup of weapons over a short period of time. Weapons are really only good for one thing, and that's fighting. The last one is going to be the alliance system as it falls onto the screen here. The alliance system is having big crews, right? If you have a big crew, you kind of think you're tougher than you really are, so you're willing to do more and fight more and get in scuffles more because you got your crew behind you. So European countries grouping together in alliances is going to lead to World War One. So I'm going to look at these each in different ways. The first one, again, the alliance system. We see there are two major alliances that start off the war. The first one is the Triple Entente, and the second one is the Triple Alliance. And these flags going from top to bottom under the Triple Entente is Great Britain, France, and Russia. And on the Triple Alliance, it's Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. But there's going to be a switch. Italy is going to swap sides. They're not very happy with what type of deal they're getting from Germany and Austria-Hungary. So they're going to swap sides. Oh boy, we didn't want that to happen. They're going to swap sides. So we'll have four countries on the Allied powers, Great Britain, France, Russia, and Italy. And then the Central Powers, they're going to need to fill that hole created by Italy leaving, and the only country left that they can find is the Empire, the Ottoman Empire. Even though they're not very strong, they're pretty weak, the Ottoman Empire is going to join in and kind of fight along with Austria-Hungary and Germany. The leaders of these countries, I just am going to bring this up for one quick reason. They call this war a family affair, and as you start looking at these pictures, you should notice that there are some similarities between how these people look a little bit, because they're all related to each other. Nicholas II, and William II actually have letters written back and forth, the Willie Nicky letters, and they're cousins, and they're talking about their childhood and how they shouldn't fight against each other because they're friends, and the communication starts to diminish and gets worse and worse, and eventually they do want to fight with each other. But it's interesting that a lot of these people are related to each other in some way, and they end up fighting against each other. So it's called a family affair, a family war. Tangled alliances. Bismarck's goal is to isolate France, and that's why this alliance system really starts. So they have an alliance with Italy and Austria-Hungary, and they have a separate pact with Russia. The problem is their pact with Russia falls apart, and we're going to see that Russia is going to form an alliance with France. And so it causes these two different parties to now be in competition with each other, and eventually it leads to some major problems. And we can see, right, the Central Powers are here across the central of Germany, and then we have kind of the Triple Entente is over here, 1, 2, and 3. And then this is going to be where the battles are fought, kind of in these striped areas. The second cause was militarism and arms race, and we can see the increase in defense expenditures, the increase in total expenditures from the great powers from 1870 to 1914. It's about 4 times the amount of money is spent in 44 years. That's a huge increase in spending. Just in 4 years before the war, Germany increases its expenditure by 73%. These are large increases in the amount of guns and the size of their armies. And really, large armies in small areas just lead to war, because the only good purpose of having an army is to fight. The third and fourth reasons were economic and imperial rivalries and prestige, right? So the economic reasons and prestige. You can see by this map down here, dark green is controlled by the Triple Entente, and that tannish brown color is controlled by the Central Powers. If you were in a fight, which side would you want to be on, the dark green or the tan? And hopefully clearly you're not dumb and you say the dark green, because there's so much more territory controlled by the Entente powers. And this leads to World War II, or World War I, excuse me, because Italy and Germany want what Great Britain and France really have. And so to try and get the size of that territory, they're going to have to go to war with the people who control that land already to try and get more of it. The last one is pride in one's nation, aggressive nationalism. Again, if I think I'm better than you, I'm going to tell you to stop doing what you're doing and tell you to be more like me, because I'm better than you, and you should be like me to make yourself better. And so that's what's going on in Europe. Everybody thinks that they're better than the other people. This political cartoon's kind of fun. You can see Russia looks like they're going to eat the rest of Europe, and the Ottomans kind of in the bottom right corner down here kind of just glaring at everybody like, I'm better than you. And Britain up here looking like, yeah, I'm better than you. And everybody here like, oh, we're going to fight you because we're better. And it's very violent, and it's very, we're better than you, and that's going to lead to war. The spark, what actually starts the war, the immediate cause for World War I is known as the spark. It's the Slavic region, the Balkan Peninsula in 1914 of Europe. You can see here's Greece, but you also have Macedonia and Albania and Bulgaria, Romania, Serbia. There's all these different groups of people that live in this peninsula. There are Italians, there are Romanians, there are Serbs, there are Russians, there are Germans. And so all these people are living together, and it leads to nationalistic problems, because if you're Italian in this area, you think Italy's better than everybody else, and if you're German in this area, you think that Germany's better than everybody else. Well, that area is under the control of Austria-Hungary, and here's Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his family. He's second in command. He's the vice president, if you want to say it that way, of Austria-Hungary, and he goes and visits this area. And so in this area, Russia backs the Slavic nations. Serbia, they want Serbia to be under Russian control, to be united with all the Slavic nations. Again, that's a nationalistic problem. Germany backs all Germanic people. Germany backs Austria-Hungary. Again, same nationalistic problem. Germans are better than everybody else. Serbian nationalists force wedges between Russia and Austria-Hungary. So Serbia, which is controlled by Austria-Hungary but backed by Russia, is going to kind of cause this problem between Russia and Austria-Hungary. The Archduke Ferdinand goes to visit Serbia, and he's killed. He's shot dead. Him and his wife are both killed in a car by a guy with a gun, walks up to the car, shoots both of them, kills them, and that's going to cause a huge problem between Austria-Hungary and Serbia. And then Russia's going to back Serbia, and then Germany's going to back Austria-Hungary, and it's called the domino effect, and eventually everybody's going to declare war against each other because of the alliance system. But it's this powder keg, it's this assassination that starts all of those chain reactions from happening. Austria issues an ultimatum to Serbia. Serbia rejects their Serbia tries to negotiate. Austria rejects that and declares war. So then Russia is going to declare war on Austria-Hungary, then Germany is going to declare war on Russia, and then France is going to declare war on Germany, and then Germany is going to invade Belgium and France, and Great Britain is going to declare war on Germany. It's just all of these groups of people, because of their friendships, really get into war, and that's what starts World War I. Here's the guy that killed Archduke Ferdinand, Gavrilo Princip. There are no real ties to the government, but he was part of a terrorist organization. It's a really interesting game that gets played. Who's to blame for the start of World War I? Well, everybody's going to blame everybody else. Austria blames Serbia. Italy's just in the corner like, I don't know. France blames Germany. Germany blames Russia. Belgium blames Germany. England blames Germany. Like everybody's pointing to somebody else. Like they all blame somebody else. It's nobody's fault. It's not my fault. It's somebody else's fault. That's how World War I starts. This complex system of alliances and special interests draws all of continental Europe into the war. European nations take up the front lines divided between those Central Powers and the Allies, that line along Russia, that line in France. And what should have been a small war between Austria, Hungary, and Serbia turns into the First World War where everybody in the world fights. Again, the alliance system, the two sides, Great Britain, France, Russia, versus Germany, Austria-Hungary, Italy. Italy changes sides. The Ottoman Empire comes in there. That's all I got for you today. Next video, we'll start looking at how the war is fought, what type of propaganda is used, what new technologies are used, and what role women play in the war. Hope you have a great day. Again, I'm Mr. Hosking. Thanks a lot, Cyberweb.